Be me, 26, average-looking guy. Work at a mid-sized logistics company, nothing special about my life. Company hires a new HR manager, her name is Rachel. Early 30s, very confident, very loud about her opinions. First week she sends a company-wide email. Subject line: redefining workplace norms. Email says men should stop holding doors for women, says it implies women are incapable, says it is a microaggression rooted in patriarchal conditioning. Half the office is confused, other half starts clapping in the group chat. Next day I hold the door for Dave from accounting. Dave is 58 and has bad knees. Rachel sees this, says nothing. Okay then. Few days pass. Rachel starts a workplace equity committee. Volunteer basis, but somehow everyone feels pressured. I do not join. Suddenly I am on a list of people to watch. Committee meets every Thursday at lunch. They discuss microaggressions. Last week's topic was men who sit with their legs apart on the bus. This week's topic is men who exhale too loudly. I wish I was making that up. My buddy Kevin joins the committee. Kevin just wants free catering. Kevin is now the committee's male ally. Kevin gets a certificate. Kevin frames the certificate. One Thursday the committee invites the whole office. Topic is unpacking invisible male privilege. I sit in the back. Presenter asks men to stand and acknowledge their privilege. I stay seated. Presenter gives me a look. I give her a nod. Nobody dies. Rachel starts, new policy, all emails must use gender-neutral language. Cannot say guys in a group message. Karen from finance sends an email saying hey everyone. Rachel replies saying hey everyone still centers English linguistic norms. Karen stares at her screen for 4 minutes. I start eating lunch alone outside. Not protest, just tired of the no's. Birds do not have equity committees. New guy joins our floor. Name is Marcus. Young, maybe 23. Very eager to impress Rachel. Follows her around like a golden retriever. Agrees with everything she says. Rachel calls is being a conscious man. Marcus calls it networking. Marcus gets promoted after 6 months. People whisper about why. Rachel writes a LinkedIn post about championing young talent. Marcus buys a standing desk. Meanwhile I have been here 3 years. Same title, same desk. Same chair that squeaks when I lean back. Nobody writes LinkedIn posts about me. I'm mostly fine with this. One day Rachel calls me into her office. Says she has noticed I am not very engaged. I ask what engagement looks like. She says attending the Thursday lunches. I say I use lunch to eat. She does not laugh. I was not joking. She says the company values team players. I say I meet all my deadlines and have 0 client complaints. She says that is not the whole picture. I say what is the rest of the picture? She says cultural contribution. I say I built a filing system last quarter that saved 6 hours a week. She writes something down. I leave. Go back to my squeaky chair. Lean back. It squeaks. I feel seen. Rachel starts a new initiative called Men as Allies Month. Men are encouraged to spend the month just listening. Not speaking in meetings unless spoken to. I read the email 3 times. It still says what it says. Kevin signs up immediately. Kevin does not speak in any meeting for 2 weeks. Kevin then accidentally sends a voice note to the wrong group chat. Voice note is Kevin ordering a burrito. Kevin is removed from the Ally program. Kevin is devastated. I continue speaking in meetings when I have something to say. Rachel flags this as resistant behavior. I flag a client contract that had an error in it. Client thanks us for catching it. Nobody flags that. Company announces a diversity award given to whoever best embodies inclusion values. Rachel nominates herself. Nobody finds this strange except me and Dave. Dave and I eat lunch outside more often now. Dave says in his day people just worked. I say in his day people also smoked inside. Dave says fair point. We eat our sandwiches. Rachel wins the award. Gives a speech about her journey. Mentions dismantling systems of oppression. Mentions her podcast 3 separate times. Does not mention anyone she manages. Thanks herself at the end. It is a very long thank you. After the ceremony I go back to my desk. There is a complaint form on my chair. Someone reported me for not clapping enthusiastically enough. I read it twice. I check if I am on a hidden camera show. I'm not on a hidden camera show. I write on the response form that I have a wrist injury. I do not have a wrist injury. Nobody follows up. The system works. Spring comes. Company hires a consultant to audit productivity. Rachel prepares a big presentation about culture initiatives. Consultant looks at the data, asks about output metrics. Rachel says metrics are a limited lens. Consultant writes something down. Report comes out 3 weeks later. Productivity on our floor is below company average. Thursday lunches are flagged as time poorly spent. Equity committee budget called disproportionate to measurable outcomes. Rachel calls the report biased. Consultant is already gone. Consultant does not care. Thursday lunches become truly optional. Attendance drops to 4 people. Kevin stops going because there is no more catering. Kevin was the backbone of that committee. Rachel sends a company-wide email, calls the change a step backward. Says the company is not committed to real change. Gets 12 replies, 11 are from the same 3 people. One is Kevin who sent it to the wrong thread. I do not reply. I fix a client issue that was 2 weeks old. Client sends a thank you note. I put it in my drawer. Drawer has 4 thank you notes now. This is my real award ceremony. New intern joins our team. Young woman, maybe 21, smart, curious, asks good questions. Rachel immediately tells her the office is full of systems designed to hold her back. Intern looks around. Office is just people eating sandwiches and staring at spreadsheets. Intern nods politely. Intern ends up sitting near me, asks me questions about the actual work. I answer them. She learns fast. After 2 weeks she handles small client files alone. Rachel says intern is thriving because of the mentorship environment. Intern looks at me. I look at my screen. We both say nothing. One afternoon intern asks me why I never go to the Thursday sessions. I say I find the work more interesting than talking about the work. She thinks about this. She says that actually makes sense. I say most things do if you wait long enough. She laughs. First time in months anyone on this floor has laughed near me. Performance reviews happen. I get a meets expectations rating. 3 years in a row. My client satisfaction scores are the highest on the floor. My error rate is the lowest. I ask my manager what it takes to exceed expectations. Manager says, need to show more leadership. I ask what leadership looks like here. Manager says being more visible. I hear the Thursday lunches in that sentence. I go back to my squeaky chair, lean back, it squeaks twice this time. Rachel pulls the intern aside. I can see them through the glass wall. Rachel gestures a lot. Intern nods a lot. Intern comes back looking slightly overwhelmed. Intern quietly asks me if I think women have to work harder to be taken seriously here. I think about it honestly. I say I think some people have to work harder to be taken seriously here. I say it is not always about gender. She asks what it is about then. I say visibility, volume, and knowing whose attention to get. She says that sounds exhausting. I say welcome to every office ever. She goes quiet, then says Rachel told her I was part of the problem. I ask what problem. She says the culture problem. I ask what she thinks. She looks at me for a moment. She says honestly she does not know yet. I say that is the most honest answer anyone has given me in this building. She smiles a little, goes back to her work. Does the work correctly. That is more than most people here manage. Rachel gets a new role, Regional Culture Director. Covering 5 offices now. She gives a farewell speech, 17 minutes long. Mentions her podcast 4 times, does not mention any team member by name. Mentions her own journey 6 times. Kevin cries a little. Dave and I eat sandwiches outside. It is cold but we do not mind. Rachel's replacement is a guy named Tom. Tom sends 1 email on his first day. Says he is happy to be here and his door is open. That is the whole email. Office seems confused. Expecting 17 paragraphs, got 1 sentence. Tom learns everyone's names on day 1. Sits in on actual work sessions, asks questions and writes things down. Tom does not mention his podcast because Tom does not have a podcast. First Thursday, under Tom there is no organized lunch. People just eat where they want. Nobody files a complaint about anyone's lunch behavior. It is an incredibly normal Thursday. I had forgotten what those felt like. End of year review from management. Our floor's productivity is up. Client satisfaction is the highest in the region. Tom sends the team a short email thanking everyone by name. 2 sentences means more than every award Rachel ever gave out. I lean back in my squeaky chair. It squeaks. I do not fix it. It is the most honest thing in this building. New year starts. Tom runs the first team meeting. Asks everyone what they want to focus on. People say things like better client communication, faster turnaround, fewer bottlenecks. Nobody says dismantling invisible systems. Nobody says redefining norms, just the work people want to do better. Meeting ends in 22 minutes. I have been in meetings that lasted 2 hours and said less. Kevin has started coming to meetings again. Kevin has opinions about client turnaround now. Kevin is actually useful. Kevin just needed the catering to go away. Dave retires. Small party in the break room. Dave says he will miss the sandwiches outside more than anything. I laugh. Dave laughs. It is a good ending for a good man. Dave's chair is filled by a woman named Priya. Priya is efficient, direct, slightly terrifying. No patience for nonsense from anyone regardless of gender. First week she tells Kevin his spreadsheet formatting is an embarrassment. Kevin fixes it in 40 minutes. Kevin has never moved that fast in his life. Priya and I get along immediately. Tom asks me to lead a client workshop. First time I have been asked to lead anything here. I say yes. I prepare. Workshop goes well. Client signs a bigger contract afterward. Tom emails the whole team about it, mentions my name again. 2 sentences again, somehow still enough. Rachel posts about it on LinkedIn, says she built the culture that made this possible. She has not worked on our floor for 5 months. Post gets 200 likes. I do not have LinkedIn. I have a drawer with 5 thank you notes. I count them sometimes. Priya and I eat sandwiches outside sometimes now. Priya does not talk much. I do not talk much. We eat sandwiches. It is good. One afternoon Priya says something unexpected. Says she used to work at a place with a Rachel. I ask how that went. She says badly for everyone including the women Rachel claimed to help. I ask why. She says because Rachel made everything about the symbol of the work instead of the work. She says women who just wanted to do their jobs well got treated like props in someone else's story. I say that sounds exhausting. She says it was. We finish our sandwiches, go back inside. Performance reviews again. I get exceeds expectations. First time in 3 years. No ceremony. No LinkedIn post. No certificate for Kevin to frame. Just a number going up on a page. I lean back in my squeaky chair. It squeaks. I smile a little. Tom stops by my desk. Says the squeaky chair is a safety hazard. Says facilities can replace it. I say I would prefer to keep it. Tom looks at the chair, looks at me. Says okay and walks away. Tom is a good manager. Intern asks me something new one afternoon. Asks if the office is better now than when she arrived. I say in some ways yes. She asks which ways. I say less no's, more work. She says she used to think talking about the work was the important part. I ask what changed her mind. She says watching who actually got things done. She says it was not always the loudest people. I nod. She nods. We go back to work. She says something else a few days later. Says she thinks the loudest people in any room are usually the most afraid. I ask afraid of what? She says afraid that, if they stop talking everyone will realize they are just ordinary. I think about Rachel. I think about Kevin before the catering stopped. I think about myself for a second too. I say that might be right. She says she learned it from watching this office. I say this office is a strange place to learn philosophy. She says all offices are. She goes back to her client file. I go back to mine. 1 full year under Tom. Productivity report comes out. Our floor is the highest performing in the region. Nobody throws a party. Nobody gives a speech. Tom sends an email with the numbers and says good work. The email is 3 sentences. Kevin prints it out and puts it on his wall. Kevin has grown as a person. I add a 6th thank you note to the drawer. This one mailed on actual paper by a client I have worked with for 2 years. She writes that I am the most reliable contact she has ever had. People still do that apparently. I read it twice. Put it in the drawer. Lean back. Squeak. Rachel calls me out of nowhere. Not in person. Just an email. Asks if I would speak at a regional culture event. Says she wants diverse perspectives, says I would represent the quiet majority. She wants me to be a prop in her presentation. I have been here before. I write back one sentence. I say I appreciate the invitation, but I am not available that day. I do not know what day the event is. I make myself not available for all days. She does not follow up. I did not expect her to. Dave visits, retired Dave, just stopping by. We eat sandwiches outside, in the cold. He asks how things are going. I say better. He nods. He says he always thought I would be alright. I ask why. He says because I never needed anyone to tell me I was doing a good job. I say the drawer of thank you notes helps. He laughs, says that is enough for anyone. Dave leaves. I go back inside. Sit in my squeaky chair. Lean back, it squeaks. December again. Year is ending. 4 years at this company. Exceeded expectations once. A drawer with 6 thank you notes. A squeaky chair nobody has replaced. A staff member who handles her own clients now, which means I did something right. A lunch spot that is mine in good weather and Priya's in bad. Tom stops by on the last day before holidays. Says have a good break, asks if I need anything. I say no, he nods, walks away. I turn off my monitor, put on my coat, look at the drawer for a second. Do not open it, I know what is in there. I walk past the empty Thursday lunchroom. Just tables and chairs now. Nobody uses it for anything special anymore. It is just a room. Rooms are better when they are just rooms. I walk out of the building. Cold air, city knows, same as any other evening, except I am exceeding expectations now, and my chair squeaks. And somewhere Rachel is on her 5th podcast episode of the week. And Kevin framed his productivity email, and the intern is not an intern anymore. And Dave is somewhere eating a sandwich in peace. And I am fine, genuinely fine, not because anything got fixed. Not because anyone figured out the gender stuff, not because the right side won, but because I kept my error rate low. And my clients came back, and the work was real. And the chair still squeaks, and that is enough. It was always enough. I just had to wait for the nose to settle, to remember that, be me, now 27. Still average looking, still logistics. Still the squeaky chair, still here. MFW Rachel's podcast has 4 listeners. 3 of them are Kevin on different devices.